Yeah, of course you can't be happy like the moment when you start to be happy. Usually everything collapses, so it's important that we try to get better like every game and improve like every other teams in the league.
Yesterday, Dave was saying that he really likes this team.
That's good, Cal.
All right. So you know what? We're all relaxed now. That's okay, Rob. In the old days, we would have gone right at it. All right. So just a thought on, on this group as a whole right now, whether, how different this feeling has been this year and maybe the sense of belief that, you guys can nurse a lead when you're up, no pun intended, up 3-2 in the third, that sort of thing. Does it have a different feel, a different sense around the group this year?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of confidence in our group, a lot of confidence in each other, that we're going to execute the way that we draw it up on the board. I think that's first and foremost. We have a great buy-in in this group, and to a man, everyone wants to do what they can to win. It's never so much about the individual; it's always about the team, and it's kind of what we've embraced so far this year. And we need to continue that. It's still. You got a third through the season, but there's still a lot of hockey to be played, and we're having fun too. I know it looks like maybe we're having too much fun after games nowadays. You can't even celebrate with each other, but yeah, we're having fun.
How much of it maybe comes a bit from the tenor of the coaching staff, that they don't get too high when you guys have a real strong performance, and they're not down on you when you guys go through maybe a tough skid during the course of a game?
Yeah, it's I think we're starting to build that trust within the coaching staff, that they can trust us to go out there and get the job done, no matter the situation. That continues to grow over the course of the year, but just the way that our coaches have been able to draw the game plan, put the things that we need to execute into easy ways that kind of come across the players, and they're great communicators, and I think that's what's made it made the jump in the transition from coaching staffs so easy this year. And like I said, we got to continue to play, and there's a lot of hockey to be played, but it's been a good start.
How impressed are you, kind of Oscar's ability to handle minutes, leading the league? You play a lot of minutes yourself. Just the job he's done with the minutes he's been given this year.
Yeah, he's a freak. I think he comes in, he's in the best shape every year at training camp, and obviously he's such a smart player, able to adapt to situations no matter what team's throwing at him, whether it's PK, PP, 5-on-5, he's able to adapt to every situation. I think that's what makes him so special. He's been a big reason why we've had some success so far this year, and I know he just continues to work and get better, and expect the best out of all of us each and every day.
Does he let you guys know that he's in the best shape, or is he a guy that's humble about that? Is it something he uses?
No, he's quiet about it. He's not too vocal about it. I don't think he has to really tell anyone he's in the best shape. Just look at him.
People make reference to trap games. Ottawa's coming here and say you have to win this game, or it's a disappointment or a letdown. How do players view it when a slumping team that played the night before comes into town? Their expectations are to win, but
Yeah, there's 82 games, and each one is unique. Each and every team in this league, I mean, the parity within the league, no matter if you're top of the standings, bottom of the standings, the teams are so close. You could lose any given night. That's what makes this league so special. But with that said, that means our focus has got to be on the first shift and build from there, because this is a team that they're very offensively, they can make it pay. They have a lot of great offensive weapons, so you got to play within our game. We got to play a good tight checking game, because that's when we're at our best.
Is there a different pressure that comes with that, like playing a game?
Just maybe take us through your time in Bakersfield and how excited you are to be back here in Edmonton.
I was down for 2 weeks, played 6 games, played a ton, played like every different situation, so it was a great experience for me to come down and, as I said, play a lot, to be confident in my game, so but now I'm excited to be back.
For your game specifically, when you get that many minutes, what are you able to work on a little bit more that you weren't maybe able to work on the first month and a half here?
No, but when you're on the ice more, you recognize more situations that you can pick up different stuff from. So that's what I felt like better and better, because I played a lot. This is how I can do this situation, because as I said, sometimes you need to keep the puck and sometimes you just need the puck to go through in the defensive zone, and I think that is a part that's been a little harder for me.
Do you find that the game slowed down a little bit for you, like getting that experience down there, that you adapt and adjust a little easier?
Yeah, a little bit, because I said before too, like to start learning when to keep the puck and when to pass the puck through in defensive zone, because as I said, that's one of my hardest things I would say to adjust, because back home I usually hold on to the puck all the time because there is like a lot of time, a lot of ice and those stuff. So here's you just need to learn to when and to the what.
Adjusting to the size and strength of players in the NHL, is that something that you have to adjust your game a little bit to, or how?
Yeah, that's also like a factor that's different from back home. So of course, but I really think that the 2 weeks down there was helpful for me to get some confidence back and played a lot. So it was a great experience.
What's the coaching staff like in terms of teaching and coaching and helping you with this?
I think there's a really good staff for young players to be around. They really want something with the team, to develop the team, to make the players better. So both Jay and Dave, I would say, was most of my contacts down there. So great guys and experienced guys.
Thanks, Russ.
Joel's back up. He just talked a little bit about the last couple weeks with Bakersfield. What do you hope to see from him now he's back?
You know what? He went down, got some big minutes in games. Obviously, his strengths are puck movement, the ability to make good plays out of our zone. You know, but he's still adapting to the North American style. So he played 6 games down there. The American League, it's interesting when European players go down there and haven't played in that before. They realize it's a really good league, and there's high pressure, and sometimes it's harder for players to play at that level than it is the NHL level because there's a little less control going on in the game. So he went down there. He played well. Continues to learn the North American game. So come up and hopefully gives us some good minutes tonight.
What did you see from Kayla, or his game just dropped?
Solid. No, he was solid. You know, I like his skating. He's got a good stick, defends really well, but. You know, right now we're looking for the left and right. We'd like to get a right-hand shot back on that right side. So we made the switch. You know, Caleb was good. He talked to him yesterday when he went down. He's in good spirits, and he'll be back. He's a good young player.
What about your injury? Cass, did he skate?
Cass skated today. Nuge skated today. Who else? Benning is shut down for a few days. Yeah.
Trauma as he's had, you're looking at it and going, hey, it's bad luck, but these things are piling on now.
Bad luck, but we just want to. I think they're being real careful with him right now. Just back him down for a few days, and then we'll see how it goes. After a few days, we'll revisit. But TD and the staff are doing a good job, and Benner's he's doing all right. He's in good spirits, but we just want to be real careful with it.
Is Nugent Hopkins, because the first announcement was he would miss those 2 weekend games, and it's kind of always been hopefully next game. Is it more serious than thought? Or?
No, it's about the same, but it's one of those things that's just going to take some time. And, you know, he skated and handled a puck today. I haven't talked to him yet since he got off, but yesterday was the first time he really went out and felt like he could do stuff with his stick. So today's another day. We'll see how it went, but hopefully he's not too far away.
Practice with you guys.
Yeah, he was first day on today. He was still a little stiff, but at least he got out there and got moving, which is a good sign.
Dave, you got a real committed team performance in Vancouver, given some of the changes you had in the lineup. Just a thought on maybe not looking at the standings and starting the homestand off the right way, the team focusing and getting back to that standard again.
I mean, the Vancouver game, there was a lot of things. As a coach, you go through every game, and there's times when there's stuff that you look at and say, boy, we should have could have done that better. And then there's times when you look at games and there's parts of the game that, boy, I wish we'd play like that all the time. And if you look the way we played in the third period, I like the way, you know, we talked about the 5 up and 5 back. We were really strong in that area in that third period. So that's what we talked about today. It doesn't matter, you know, what the other team comes in, you respect the other team, you know what they're going to do, but we feel like we have to play our game if we're going to be successful, and that's what we stressed this morning. We have to start this homestand off playing well and playing to our strengths, and hopefully that can turn into some wins for us.
Dave, you're a veteran NHL coach. You know Babcock and Peters and all those guys from years back. What's the environment like to be an NHL head coach right now?
I don't know. I just deal with my own stuff, you know, and I've said it before. I mean, I've been around the league a long time, and I think it's the way of the world now. There's lots of stuff being said all over the place. I don't listen to it. I have no social media, so I'm not privy to everything that's going on. I just know how I wanted to be treated as a player when I was in this league was just treat me with respect, and I've had the same feeling as a coach. I treat people with respect, and hopefully you get that respect back, and that's how I live my life and live my coaching. So that's where I'm at.
You ever get yelled at when you were a player?
I got yelled at a lot when I was a player. Yeah, but the game has changed that way. I mean, from where it was 10, 20 years ago, the game is, you know, and I look at it like there was a lot of times when probably one guy that Terry Simpson was a guy that was my junior coach, and we won all the time, and you know, I look back now, not that he yelled at me, not anything like that, but he he taught us how to win, you know, and it wasn't disrespectful whatsoever. So you need, you know, as a player, you need to be pushed a little bit, and he did. There was nothing disrespectful about what he did. He just pushed our teams to win, and you know, that's what a coach's job is, to find a way to get teams to win. Now, again, you can do that with all the respect in the world from the players, and I learned lessons from him. That's where I am today.
Dave, have you felt over the years that you've had to change the way that you've dealt with players, though?
I think as I get older, you know, players get younger, and as I get older, but fortunately I've had a couple daughters that go through that whole millennium stage, so so it's the same. I don't know. You talk to people with respect. You're still teaching. You're still, you know, every day I like to have relationships with my players where you know, they feel like that. It's like a partnership. It's not a dictatorship at all. It's a partnership. We're all in this together. I look at it as one team. You know, just because there's players, there's coaches, there's trainers, everybody's on the same team. So that's the way I look at it. So I've looked at it that way since I was a player in the game, and still look at it today as a coach.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dave.
Ken, game number 30 tonight. Just maybe talk about the assessment of the season, especially with the expectations you had coming into the season.
Well, obviously, first off, you look at the standings. You'd have to be very happy to be, competing with the best teams in our division. In the standings, I think, on the team, I think they found good team chemistry. We've won some big games on the road. I think we're 10-6-1 on the road. You like to be able to go on the road and win games, and we've won some big games on the road. And I think that overall it's been a really good 30 games. Still 52 games to go. Long way to go. It's going to get harder. Going to get tougher. But I think so far so good.
There was a story the other day on Johan Franz, and Chris Chelios had some things to say about it. There's some stories swirling around about Mike Babcock and maybe the way at times he treated people. Ken, were you aware at any point in your tenure? Did anybody make you aware that Mike was treating anybody in a way that wouldn't have been appropriate or abusive? What were you aware of?
No.
Nothing at all?
Well, I'm not telling you they didn't. I've been a manager for 22 years. I've been Scotty Bowman, Dave Lewis, Mike Babcock, Jeff Blashill, and now Tip. At the end of the year, I always do exit interviews. I started that at the beginning. So do players not like their role, not like the coach, not like who they're playing with? Yeah, I hear that all the time. You talk about Johan Franzen. Johan, I can't speak for Johan. He came out, he was very clear. He thought Mike Babcock was a tremendous coach. He doesn't like him as a person. And I would say, too, that when you have a 23-man roster, when I was in Detroit with Mike Babcock, there were some players in that locker room that didn't like the coach. There were some players in that locker room that didn't really have feelings either way. And I know that there's some players in that locker room that thought he's the best coach that they ever played for. No different probably than when I played in 1975 to 85. It's just when you got to dole out ice time, and you got to go through your process, some people are going to like you, some people aren't.
But part of the stories is of guys, going through a difficult time, having breakdowns, things that they claim dramatically affected them. If that happened, is that something you would have liked to have been aware of at the time?
Yeah. I'm aware of everything. Okay, that's my job as the general manager. I'm aware of either firsthand, or certainly the trainers come to me, the team doctors come to me, the coach comes to me. I'm around the team on an everyday basis. So either firsthand or secondhand, for the most part, not every detail, not every conversation. My managing style is, when the coach talks to the team, I'm not in there every day. I want the players to know that the coach is the boss. So, I'm not, when the coach has one-on-one meetings, whether it's the head coach or the defensive coach, I'm not in those meetings. So there's one-on-one meetings, and there's some team meetings that I'm not privy to every word that comes out. But certainly I'm aware of the message. I'm aware of the message that's coming from the coach on an everyday basis. I'm in the locker room before the game or before practice. I'm in the locker room after practice. I've tried to be available to our players through the years, whether it's the short time here in Edmonton or my 22 years in Detroit, to talk to the players pretty well every year. I talk to players after the season. To get an exit meeting, to get their feelings on everything that's going on. So am I aware that there was some unhappiness? Yeah. But I think there's always going to be unhappiness. I don't care what your style is. But I'm not aware of some stuff I'm not aware of.
Have you talked to Johan?
No.
Did you talk to Babs and Chelios?
I talked to Chelly because when Chelly was on Spittin' Chicklets, I guess, I don't follow it, but the timeline that Chelly, I told Chelly, I hold Chelly in the highest regard. I mean, he played for us for 10 years. He's a warrior. he was he brought him onto our staff as an advisor. He was an assistant coach with Blashill in Grand Rapids, and then he came to Jeff. He was an assistant coach for a year in Detroit. So I've got a long relationship with Chelly, and I just said to Chelly that the timeline that he laid out, the perception was that there was a situation between Babcock and Franson on the bench, and the next day I came down and said something to the team. Both are true, but they're about 5 or 6 years apart. So when I did address the team one point in time, it was, I think Chelly retired in 09. Chelly said he was sitting in the locker room, so it's got to be 06, 07. And the Franson Babcock was the Nashville series in 2012. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood the timeline was 5 or 6 years apart. So I did talk to Chelly. I haven't really talked to anybody else.
There was a report that in the Nashville thing with Franson that the Swedish players came to you to have a meeting. Is that true?
About what?
About Franson, about treatment?
No, I mean the Franson that game we got eliminated. It was Game 5. When I came down after the game, you know, I had a number of people tell me that there was a heated exchange on the bench, and we were eliminated. Always, whenever we're eliminated for 20 years, we've had a day off. The next day, I address the team as a group, and then I do exit interviews. So, did I have over the course of 10 years? 22 years. It's every. Have I had players in my locker room? Yeah. Doesn't matter who's coaching. Doesn't matter what your style is.
My apologies. You've known Mike Babcock for a long time. What are your thoughts on kind of what has transpired here over the last little while in regards to all the stuff coming out about him?
I'll keep my thoughts to myself. You know, we had 10 years. He works. He comes to work. He works hard every day, and he was a tremendous coach. Over the course of 10 years, or I don't know, are you going to have some people that are not happy? Yeah, we're trying to. There's that fine line between trying to push people to make us better individually, to make us better as a group, and also there's obviously you got to be on the right side. I think the most important thing is respect. Trying to make sure that you've got. We're all trying to find it, managers and coaches and players, to make sure that there's respect is the most important thing in our game.
There's this, you know, I don't know if movement is the right word, but a situation happening in the hockey environment where lots of people are coming out, whether it be on social media or in the media, talking about the way they were treated as players, feeling at times mistreated, maybe abused, things that happened a long time ago. How do you think the game and people involved should be handling these accusations of the past when maybe things were a little bit different, viewed through today's lens, and how we sort of process all of this stuff that's coming out right now, Ken?
Probably an opportunity for all of us to look at how we do business and make sure that we're better because of it.
And it will cause you, and you will encourage others to do that. Is that what the game could use?
Well, I mean, the game is, Ryan, the game is massive. I mean, I can't get on the phone and be phoning everybody.
Your staff, your people.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's a big game out there. So I think that I'm sure. You know, I've talked to my staff, and over the course of the last few days, and it's and me personally. You know, I went for dinner with my wife last night, and you're making sure that I'm going to do things better or differently. That if you haven't done something, maybe. I don't even know what the right word is. I think it's a time for when you look at yourself, and we look at ourselves as an industry to make sure that we're learning something and we can come out better because of it.
Is it true? I remember Scotty Bowman told me once when he coached one way when he was in Montreal, one way when he was in Pittsburgh, but then by the time he got to Detroit, he wasn't coaching too much longer, and the players were younger and stuff, and he had to change with the times. Is that what you find with a lot of older coaches? The longer they coach, they have to change. their message might be one way, but how they.
Well, I'm old, so I mean, Jim, when you asked me that, I think, I don't think it really matters about your age. I think it matters about respect. I think it's about, we can go all. I think it's about respect, and I think it's about making sure that we respect one another. And certainly, the manager-coach relationship, the manager-player relationship, the player-coach relationship, the player-player relationship, the player-to-training staff, medical people. I think all these relate to media, to the fans. I think ultimately, for me personally, I think back to what Ryan, it's about respect, making sure that that we respect one another.
So, okay, just to change gears a little bit, if there was a high-scoring winger available as a rental, how much would you have to give up in terms of pieces for that?
You're funny. I don't have time answers all questions.
So in terms of rookie, what is your philosophy on rental players?
What is my philosophy? Well, you just got to look at my history in Detroit. Historically, when I thought that we've had a chance to make some noise, I've tried to do something. Early on, I made some big noise. Obviously, Chelios at the trade deadline, and Brad Stewart, and made some moves. But 2015, I think my last year, the year before, 16, maybe 14, 15, traded a second-round pick for Cole and a third-round pick for Zidlicki, trying to get a little more depth. I think if you got right now it's, what is it, December? It's the beginning of December. Trade deadline's what, February 26th, 25th, 26th, 27th, right at the end of February. We're all of December, all of January, most of February. We're 3 months away. And even teams that are, other than 3-4 teams, if you're 12th in the conference, you're 5 or 6 points out of a playoff spot. So I think it's a long way away from rentals. And I think on our side, the flip side, we've had a great start. It's important that we continue to put ourselves in a position so that this question that you're asking me on February the 15th, it's an easy league to all of a sudden lose 6 or 7 in a row. You can play good.
You don't have your third rounder probably.
No.
And you don't
Well, I don't know if I do, but it's being held. Well, we can't use it. We can't use it. Yeah, we can't use it.
So to trade another draft pick, you're going to be pretty fair at the draft. If you traded another draft pick, you only get 7.
Well,
you're already down 5.
let me make that decision. Let me make that decision.
Do you value draft picks that much? In terms of
but I value winning. When you get a chance to win, I value winning. That's what you got to value: winning versus draft picks, winning versus future. Those are the. I'll sit with my staff as we go forward, and those are the decisions that you make as you head towards the trade deadline.
Because of the success you've had, are you maybe more likely to push more chips into the middle if it continues this way than you might have thought you would have been?
Ryan, I think I don't have an answer for that. I think that's experience. It's just weighing all the information, talking to your people, and ultimately making a decision at that point in time based upon all the information. So I can't say to you yay or nay. I can't say to you yay or nay. And I think whatever decisions we make leading up to the trade deadline, and I think that's what these questions are all about, are going to be based upon number one, standings. Where are we going to be in the standings? We're in a nice place today, but things change in 2 weeks. And then who's available, what's the cost, and you go through all that, and then you weigh it, and you either do or you don't.
Would you be paying more attention to the Ottawa Senators tonight than you normally would?
I find, for me personally, when our team is playing, I have a hard time focusing on the other team.
Even if there might be some.
Yeah, I just have a hard time focusing on the other team. If I want to watch some other team, Jim, I'll watch them tomorrow night or last night. It's not when they're playing our team.
Ken, there was a deadline December 1st for concerning Jesse Puljujarvi.
Yep.
Did you have any last discussion with him or with other team about him?
I haven't talked to Jesse or his agent in a while. Maybe in 6 weeks, I'm guessing. I had a brief conversation in the middle of, there was really nothing to talk to them about. They were either going to get the news. They made it clear Marcus Lado and Jesse made it clear over June, May, when I became GM May 6th, over all of May, all of June, all of July, all of August, that they were, their camp was very entrenched in the decision that he had made. Had lots of talks in August, went really quiet in September. I did talk to 5-6 teams from middle of October till the end of till December the 1st or the day before. I did talk to talk to 3 or 4 teams the last week. Ultimately, there wasn't a deal there in my mind. I'll deal with it next summer.
Thanks, Ken.